Hello friends and enemies, it's me Isabel here with my October wrap-up. So I didn't do a mid-month this month, if you noticed. You may not have. Usually that's where I just talk about what I read for the first half of the month, no stats, but this month, the way life worked, if you've been following along, I've had 2 weddings back to back on top of a trip, a very like random surprise Disney trip I took with my parents. Just a lot has been going on pretty much, I feel like, non-stop since September, to be honest with you, to an extent. But yeah, I basically have been home for 3 weeks. So I'm proud of myself right now. The fact that I, one, even read anything at all over the course of October, because it was very stressful. Grumps was a groomsman, and in both of the weddings we had to attend. So there's just a lot that goes into it, more than just like being a guest. You know what I mean? We did have that. I went to Disney. October's busy, like very busy. So yeah, I read in October and I am thrilled that I read anything, to be honest with you. If you're new here, this is normally where I go over everything I've read since my mid-month wrap up. But obviously we didn't have one in October because there was no time. So we're gonna go through everything I read, all 19 books. I'm gonna try and be brief and quick about them and just kind of highlight what I loved about them and not give too much, because honestly, I don't want to be here forever. But we'll see. Let's dive right into my stats, and I'll have timestamps down below if you want to jump around between any of my star ratings and manga and etc. All right, first up, I read 19 books in October for a total of 3,812 pages. My average rating was a 3.84. I read 7 titles in KU and 1 library book, which is really sad that I only read 1 library book, because I feel like my library number is usually at least 4 or 5, but again, it's just been that kind of month. And then for the age groups, we had 18 adult titles and 1 YA title. And then our format breakdown was 10 ebooks, 7 audiobooks, and 2 manga. I will note, I have been kind of not reading a ton of manga, knowing that 30 and 30 is coming up, and I didn't want to like read so much this month that in November I didn't want to read any manga. And then I also read 5 new to me authors and no debuts. So that was really good. I'm really happy that I managed to pick up 5 new to me authors, especially in such a busy time, because I often find myself wanting to go back to the authors I already know and love when I'm so busy, but I didn't do that, so it's great. Let's head right into my ratings. So I didn't DNF any books this month, but I did have 2 1-star reads. Now, I am team DNF the 1-star potential books. Occasionally hate read them, okay? I'm not saying that, like, sometimes they're fun. But I started a fun thing for my members this month that led to something else that I will link to you in the description. But I am doing this little thing where I read what I'm calling shitty short stories to my friends. One of them, particularly December's probably, or late November's, will be me reading one to Grumps. In October, the one I did was Written by Uber. I read this to Shay over at Shay Geeks Out and May at This Past Romance. They picked it. This is by Leonard Delaney. God, what do I say about this? This is, if you want to read a really weird book for 99 cents, here you go. The cars, okay, we're gonna get into this a little bit more than I planned, but I was expecting like more Transformer-y smut in this erotica situation. This was actually like anthropomorphic cars, kind of, and also they discuss like why people put truck nuts on their car, and y'all, like holes and orifices opened in the cars, and there was like public sex. It was very weird. I feel like, you know, it's some people saying it, I'm not gonna shame you or like yuck your yum, but like these are meant to be parody for the most part, and to make you laugh, I feel like, more than anything. But I also am not aware of every single fetish in the world, so maybe I'm wrong. Then I read another one. This is on a live stream for Megan from Meowth Invader's birthday. I will link it down below. We have timestamps for where we start reading this. We decided to do a dramatic reading, and it did not disappoint, I guess. We read Taken by the Tetris Blocks by Leonard Delaney as well. And well, we did voices. We fully cast the story. Yep. This one was in some ways better and at the same time worse than the other story. So there's that. This one at least is in Kindle Unlimited, but these blocks just showed up out of nowhere, and they like do a bunch of stuff to control the world and to help the world. And they're there, and well, she fucks them. And it's just weird. After those 2 1-star delights, we have my 3-star reads for the month. First, we have The Damon the Devil by Dahlia Davies. This is a hard 3-star. The parts of this book that I really, really liked, I really freaking liked. But I like desperately wanted more, is the best way I can put it. So I've landed around a 3 after reading it, and I was just like, oh, I really loved the writing. I liked the world being built, but it's so short that I wanted more explanation for the world and why certain people were sent to hell on Halloween and danced with fake devils and had to identify the real devil, and if you did, you were stuck with him for a year, and why she was so interested in chasing him down. I just wanted more, you know? Like, we got some of why she was interested, but I wanted like the prelude to her like 3rd year going and trying to do this, why she was so determined to find him. Like what led to her determination to punish people who she felt were not being justly punished by God or the devil, depending on where they went. Because that's just like an interesting story concept, right? But like, this is still a really fun short, and I really liked the setup in the world, and the atmosphere in this book was incredible. But I just wanted more. So I landed at a 3. It's one of those ones where like I could see myself flip-flopping between a 4 and a 3, a 3.5. Like, it just, every time I think about it, it kind of just bounces around. So I've just settled on a 3 for now. We'll see. Next we have my 3.5, which is Scream for Us by Molly Doyle. This was a one that came out last year that a lot of people loved. This is a wide shoes romance with masked heroes and the classic Halloween masks. So I liked this. I thought it was fun. I got the audio with the KU checkout really, really cheap, and I didn't hate the narration. I've never listened to Eros, whatever, narrate a whole book. It was interesting. I didn't mind it, but like, I might have liked it more if I just read it with my eyes. It was one of those. Not like a bad narrator or anything. It just, his style isn't maybe for me as much as I would have hoped it might have been. So there's that. Yeah, I'm curious enough though that I will be reading Melt for Us probably in November, because like, why not? Like, these are really short, fun novellas. All right, we're gonna move right into my 4-star reads, which I have a lot of. Unsurprising, I try to pick up books I'm gonna love. Big surprise, the first 4-star is Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston. So I have read other books by her and I really enjoyed them. So I wasn't too hesitant to pick up this, besides the like Raylo vibes. This book has full on like Raylo in it, and I don't know what to tell y'all, but it feels like it started as a Raylo fic potentially. It has massive themes of grief though. I do need to caveat that right now before I dive into talking about this book. And it's grief around the death of a parent and of your own potential death. There's also bullying in this book, and it's just really interesting. So our female main character, she and her whole family runs the funeral home in town back in the, I think it was North Carolina, I can't remember, somewhere south like that area, rural, small town, very like Gilmore Girls-y small town, but southern, not New England. So they run the funeral home. She's left. She ghostwrites for an author. She can see ghosts also. And we're following her journey going back home because her father has died. So this is like heavy, y'all, like heavy. But I really liked it in ways I didn't expect. And I really liked the romance in it in ways I didn't expect. It is definitely a grief-focused book. It is still a romance though. Like, the romance is still a core plot point. But the grief in this book and the like mourning of what could have been and maybe would have been is very intense. Also very intense on the Raylo feelings. I can't find anywhere if this was Raylo fic. I don't know that it was or wasn't. I don't really care either way. It just, this for me was like a gut punch in a really good way. I started my month off reading this and I really loved it, and also nearly cried reading it. And I don't cry at a lot of books, so if it's like piqued your interest, I think you should pick it up. If it's one that you keep looking at and are like, I don't think it's for me, I would skip. That's where I'm sitting on it. Next, we have The Princess and the Scoundrel, which was a buddy read with Shay over at Shay Geeks Out in May from This Past Romance. When we saw this book had dropped, the three of us were freaking out because we're little Star Wars geeks. And we had an absolute blast reading this. I know that if we do another one, I gotta get Steph from Novelty Corner in on it too. And this has me wanting to read more Star Wars books. I'm not gonna deny that. This was really fun. This is the wedding and the post-honeymoon adventure slash cruise tour they go on to show the galaxy the Union and the perks of the rebellion slash new government, because it's no longer a rebellion. It's a really kind of slow internal story in a weird way, but it also has like really great plot and interesting points. We end up on this really cool ice planet that some things are happening, and Leia and Han figure it out and help them out. I'm gonna leave it at that, but I really liked it. I felt like we got really good glimpses of them as characters and their banter and all the fun things. Also, hold on. If you get the Barnes & Noble edition, it comes with a freaking poster, y'all. Oops, let me not hold it upside down. This poster. Yeah, this poster of the cover. So it's a double-sided poster. How stinking cute. I am gonna be framing that at some point in my library. But yeah, this one by Beth Rivas I thought was really great. I thought it was a well done Star Wars book. And yeah, I'm now like, I need to read more Star Wars books. I've read a few, but I would definitely like to explore that universe a little bit more via books. Next, for my 4 stars, we have Wolf Gone Wild by Juliet Cross. This one follows Mateo, a wolf shifter who has been stuck, unable to shift, and Evie, a witch. This is just really cute. I read this for Love in the Night. I really enjoyed it. I do have some quibbles we'll talk about in a minute when we talk about the other one I read in my 4.5s. But it's really cute, it's really fun. I enjoyed the narration. I don't love, and this stands for both of them, they're narrated by a white man, and both the male main characters in this book, and the first 2 that I've read, are not white. And that just kind of bothered me a little bit. I can't speak on representation done by white people as a white person. Like, I mean, I can say I don't love it usually, but I can't tell you if it's accurate or well done or any of those things. And I just don't love that part of this book series, I guess, so far. I do still want to read more because I like the sisters and I'm really interested in their stories, which is why I continued. But yeah, it's just like, it's weird. That's all I got. But this is really fun. She helps him break a curse. The ending felt a little bit rushed in my opinion, and I didn't love that part of it for Wolf Gone Wild, but I'm still like, it was still fun. Like, it was a fun book. It was a fun paranormal read. Then I read The Death God Sacrifice by Jenny Nordbach. This had such a fun, this is a Gorgon female main character and a Druid male main character. He has to initiate a thing with our female main character to open the market for the Peculiar Taste book series. And it was so good. It was very hot. It was very spicy. Very well done. I really loved my time with it. It just, some of the writing for me was clunky and it took me a while to get through. No fault of the author. I think I've just also, like, honestly, this last month, October, I have been so busy and in a weird space that it's hard for me to judge books. If I'm not getting through it in like 2 days, like I usually would, it's hard because, like, I don't know if it's me, if it's the writing always right now, or if it's just busyness, right? But I really like this. This had great face sitting in it. So that's a perk. And I also just think this was like a really interesting setup for opening this novella series that they have with all the different romances. I also just really loved a Gorgon heroine. I don't think we get enough Gorgons in our romances, and I want more of them, always and forever. Give me my Medusa descendants and like people who can freeze men by looking at them. Then I read That Time I Got Drunk and Needed a Love Potion at a Werewolf. I loved this. 4 stars as well. Obviously, we're still in the 4-star section. So I love this. And this was really cute, great follow-up. I don't have a ton to say about it. I thought the love potion part of it was really funny, and like him having to convince her that he did actually, like, she was his mate, like no love potion needed. So that part was really fun. And I think this one, like, it just didn't do the same for me as the first book did in the series, but that doesn't mean it was bad. It just didn't, like, I loved the adventure, like the reluctant adventurer aspect of the first book, and this doesn't have as much of that necessarily built into the story and how it unfolds, but I still really enjoyed it. And he's like a cinnamon roll werewolf shifter, so that was really cute. Then I read Charming Your Dad by Sarah Blue. This is my first ever Sarah Blue, and anything by this author, I think she has some other pen names. This surprised me, y'all. I finished this like literally on Halloween, and this is an incubus demon of Lucifer and a witch slash something else. We're not sure, obviously, at the beginning, but we know there's something up there because she's just not quite like everyone else in her coven. And this follows their journeys. He is sent to the town to figure out what is going on and who's killing like all these people, like what demon is doing it, and find them. And our witch, she is trying to kind of break free of the coven, and some bad things keep happening, and then finds out her boyfriend's cheating on her, and this turns into like the two most morally gray characters falling in love with each other in the best way. Like, I was here for it. Listen, our female main character here is not necessarily like this sweet virginal person. Like, she's a badass. She does not give a fuck. She's gonna make your life hell when you fuck her over, and that's exactly what she does to her ex in this book. And then there's some other things that unfold, like perhaps this incubus demon is his dad. But yeah, it was really, really good. And then just like some other fun things get exposed throughout the story that make it like even more of an entertaining time to read because of just bits. This is a big age gap also, you know, paranormal, you could read this whenever. And it was really fun. I think it could have used a small trim on the length because like I feel like some things took too long to happen, but I still really enjoyed it, and I'm really freaking happy I read it. Just absolutely delightful. Then I also read A Bump in Boohale by Kimberly Lemming. This is a cute little novella following Cinnamon and Felix. Is that his name? Shit, I think. I don't remember. Anyways, it follows our first book's characters, and it's on Halloween slash, you know, all the festivities happening, and it follows her and him having like a really fun, it's like a slice of life fun little thing, you know? His name is not Felix. I don't remember his name. I just read this and I already forgot it, whatever. Anyways, it follows their little slice of life, and it was really freaking cute and fun and adorable. And it was like 40 some pages of just cute. That's all I got. All right, let's move on to my 4.5 star reads. We have Blood Moon by Gillian Graves, who's quickly becoming one of my favorite monster authors. I didn't think anyone could compete with Lillian Lark, but we have a competitor with 2 books now. Blood Moon follows a vampire and a witch. She is just desperate for a hookup and wants to bang it out basically on Halloween with someone, and takes this potion, and she's showering in her friend's room, and he walks into that bathroom, and it just goes from there, y'all. It is spicy. They are like kind of rivals. Like, she doesn't know who he is, but he knows who she is. And she quickly finds out he runs the rival bar club thing across the street from her bar. And it just is a really fun romance and a really great pairing. I loved the vampire witch combo. I loved the way everything happened in this. It just was so much fun. I just wanted a little bit longer of a book, honestly. Next, I read Ensnared by the Werewolf, which follows the witch from Found by the Lake Monster. So the date that was originally supposed to go to the Lake Monster, this is her story. So we kind of like flash back some, and she's helping this werewolf like undo his curse so he can unshift, because he thinks his family's been cursed and all these things. And we find out there's more to it. They end up being fated mates, and it's really precious and really sweet. Also absolutely filthy, which I expect nothing less from Lillian Lark, to be honest with you. I would be surprised if it wasn't. This had a great knotting in it also. Like, I really enjoyed the knotting in this one, and I really enjoyed how we discovered they were fated mates and the reveals, and then we like flashed forward to when she's in the woods trying to find the cabin. It's just a good time. It was just a freaking good time. So next we have Don't Hex and Drive by Juliet Cross. This is the one where I'm going to talk about a little bit more with the issues I'm having with the series and what I'm curious to see unfold. So I had a couple people in my comments call out some of the representation stuff, and I again, I don't disagree. I don't necessarily prioritize white women writing diverse heroes or heroines. I don't also always read descriptions, so I don't know going in. And this one, I was already so interested in Isadora's story that I kind of was like, well, I'm gonna find out. And I was surprised at how much I loved this, but I love this on the caveat that I don't feel like Devraj, our male main character, is identified enough as being Southeast Asian, or like, it just kind of was randomly mentioned. Like, it was just dropped here and there. It didn't feel like a part of him, which is the thing that I find most when I read own representation in books, right? You can see the reflection of them on the page, like of their culture, of their family, of their life, all these things that make someone that, like, on the page. So I didn't feel that there. So the 4.5 here really is for Isadora, because I absolutely loved her. I loved her dynamic with DeVraj, but I also, again, you could have kind of cut and pasted any kind of hero in there. Not any kind of hero, but it didn't have to be who he was, right? But yeah, I loved their dynamic. I loved the opposites attract here. I giggled quite a bit during this one, and I just really enjoyed the two of them together at the end of the day. But again, I totally see the complaints. Like, I get it. Like, I do see them, and I'm going to, like, I will be continuing this series because I do own all of the audiobooks right now, and I don't think I can still return them, and I'm curious enough that I'm going to continue. But again, I see y'all, and I do value your opinions and takes on this, and I think it's important, like, to talk about on my channel and mention when I talk about these books. So know that if you do pick up this series. But yeah, I think it still was a fun story. I liked their dynamic as a couple and the character types. But yeah, I just, you know, you should know that before you go in. Next, we have my 5-star reads. All right, so we have 2 this month, which is really great. And we actually have 1 6-star. So, like, I killed it. Like, I'm telling you, I didn't read a ton. Well, I mean, I read a lot still, but I didn't read as much as I often do. But I still had favorites. So, my 5 stars. Let's talk about Hollow's Grove by Leisha Cott. Leisha Cott has my heart. I need to read her entire backlist ASAP. Like, I really do. And I thought that after I read the 4-leaf. But reading Hollow's Grove confirmed it. This is a later book in the Holly Knights series. You can pick this up without having read any of the other ones. This follows 2 friends and the friend's older brother. And they go to a house, like this mansion that she's running, and running this game of Clue, basically, for team bonding. Well, she's always wanted her best friend and brother to hook up. And she pairs them together, and it's them running around together. And I'm going to call it annoyances to lovers, because they basically just annoy each other constantly. And neither one had been single at the right time for them to really date yet, now that they were adults. Because he didn't want to date her when she was like 15, you know? And that's fair. Like, he's a couple years older. I think he was like 3 years older. Absolutely valid and fair, right? This has like all of my favorites. We've got like the best friend's brother, slash, like, yeah, I always just love the best friend, like, sibling trope. Like, it's always so fun. The like annoyance, like constantly picking at each other because they've been friends since childhood. Delightful. There's some light primal play in this. He's a pleasure dom. Like, y'all, this is so freaking good. I devoured this book. And it hit all the spots. Like, I just was thrilled while I read it. Like, no joke, thrilled. The whole entire time I read this book. If you're looking for a fun book, I think you can read this not around Halloween also. It's just a good time. And, you know, we don't get enough pleasure doms in books. So this was just really fun. Really fun to read. And now I'm circling back to the first book in the series, which is Christmas themed, because I've decided I just want to read all of them. So we're going to work on that here probably before the end of the year. Next, we have a book that I have delayed and delayed and delayed. And that's The Alpha Tyrant's Rejected Mate by Kate C. Wells. I love Kate C. Wells. She's one that I should have put on my Break in Case of Emergency book list, to be honest. Because I keep avoiding reading some of her books because I don't want to be done with them. Plain and simple. I mean, also there's one I just literally can't read because one of the trigger warnings would set me off right now. But anyways, this book, I'm mad at myself that I waited this long to read it. It was so good. This follows to a werewolf pack. She has been ostracized kind of from the community because she's never mated. She's a little bit older, hasn't really shifted yet. She shifts, claims the alpha of the pack. Well, he rejects her in front of everyone. And we follow from there. And there's so much. There's such great community and friend group in this with all the women who are unmated living together in this house, and like why they're bonding, and they're trying to like sell things in town to make money to do things because they don't have means, and he doesn't. The alpha has no idea, and he's like changed the pack so it's better for people. And we slowly just follow the journey of him like being like, I have feelings for you, but she tried to have the feelings removed, like her mate bond broken. So like it's her being like, what the fuck is wrong with you the whole time? And you know, you rejected me, like I have no interest in you. And then them slowly coming back together and things that were like not known being revealed. This is just a masterpiece. I freaking love this book. I need to read the rest of the series. I gotta get caught up on it because it was so good. Like I like there's so many things about this book that I want to tell you that I can't tell you because I feel like they're all spoilers. And that's the worst part, is everything that would make you want to read this I feel like would be a spoiler. So I'm gonna say if you like Fated Mates and you like a like turn down and come back around situation, you probably should try this book out. It's so freaking good. It's so good. So next we have my 6th star of the month, which is King of Wrath by Anna Wong. I got an arc of this, full caveat there. So I read this a little bit early before it came out. We get it like a few days ahead. So I like devoured this 500 and some page book and I loved every minute of it. If you would have told me I was gonna love another 500 and some page book by Anna Wong again, I would have been like, are you sure? Because I thought Twisted Lies was it. No, this book kind of takes place parallel to Twisted Lies, like similar timelines. So you can read them like together and or not. Pretty much this is a billionaire romance, but what I love the most is she's an heiress. Our female main character, Vivian, is an heiress. So like she has power too. She also runs her own business and has all of these things she's doing, right? And isn't reliant on him, Dominic, our male main character's money or connections necessarily completely. Now, she does use them to her advantage. Like one of my favorite things here is he pisses her off, but had given her an Amex black card, so she went and charged it up, like 100 grand. And he like started fighting with her, so she wrote him a check and was like, peace out. I'm done. And this one follows the like really reluctant to feel things hero. And I love watching them crumble. That is one of my favorite things when I read a billionaire type romance like this, because it works so well for them to crumble. And it's just funny watching him slowly give in to her and slowly fall for her. And then next thing you know, they're together and it's so good. It's so good. I honestly haven't read a ton of billionaires this year or recently, and it made me want to read a lot more. Or at least solely billionaire. He's a little bit questionably dark as well. Seriously though, this one is a delight. I think if you've liked other Anna Wongs, you will like it. And if you're open to the billionaire romance situation. We also have some great family betrayals in here and a lot of other little moving pieces that just make it work really well. But yeah, it's like an arranged marriage, and the crumble in this is fan-fucking-tastic. All right, I read 2 volumes of manga this month, so let's talk about those really quickly. I read Such a Treacherous Piano Sonata Volume 1. This is a digital-only comic currently, just so you know. And this one follows a girl who is moved into PR/marketing, whatever type thing, for classical music from more rock music. And her newest client is this piano, like, prodigy guy. And he is not doing so well right now, and she has to like help fix his image some, and it's them like slowly having feelings for each other and some drama. Volume 1's very much like very introductory, but I'm curious. I will probably pick up some more issues of this when they drop in price a little bit. I'm not gonna pay $10.99 for them, but I will get them for like $7.99. Then I read Hi, I'm a Witch, but my crush asked me to make him a love potion. And this surprised me. So this is based off of a light novel. And this follows a girl who's recently lost her grandma who raised her and lives on the cabin, like on a cabin on a lake. She's the local witch, and she has this crush on this guard/night guy that she saw 4 years ago. He doesn't know she exists. He shows up, asks for this potion. She agrees to it, but is sending him on all these like bananas errands to go get the ingredients for the potion. And honestly, like overall, this was just really freaking cute and really fun. I gave it a 4-star. I'm really excited for volume 2 whenever that comes out. When I was Googling earlier, I couldn't even find volume 2. So hopefully we're getting it sooner than later. But this came out in like June of this year. So it might be January or so until we get volume 2. But yeah, really cute. Really fun, great art, great storytelling. Just a fun shoujo if you're looking for that with like a knight and a witch. And then we do get reveals about why he's asking for the love potion, which were delightful. So that is everything I read in the month of October. This is a long one. November's will not be this long because we will have 2. Let me know your favorite book you read in October or your least favorite. And if you don't want to do that, leave me a spooky emoji, a spider, a bat, take your pick, because Halloween is over. We are moving into Thanksgiving, so I feel like I got one more left that I can ask for. And I will see y'all in just a few days in my next video. Bye!
Already packing, come with me. I'm not really asking. We'll get away to a place where we don't know. About to see the world in action, what we can be. Life with no distractions, we'll get away.